Okay. Good evening again, everyone. Welcome. You made it. Did you bring your Tupperware? No, we do have a few extra seats, but we're so very honored that you made the trip. Thank you so very much. Good evening, elders, chiefs, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Government House. My name is Jeremy Brownridge, Private Secretary to the Lieutenant Governor, and I'm deeply honored to be your co-MC here tonight. But before I go any further, I wish to acknowledge with great respect that we are gathered on the beautiful lands of the Lekwungen peoples, the Songhees and the Esquimalt, represented tonight by Chief Thomas, and of course, other leaders and elders and members of community that are here tonight, some of whom are in the hallway right now. And I thank you most respectfully and sincerely for sharing these lands and space with us tonight. I extend a very warm welcome, and actually warm welcome. Did you see the fire? Not too bad. Welcome to you all, and how about that? Thank you very, very much for those that have traveled far and wide getting here through the Canadian sleet, the snow, and inclement weather to be with us tonight and share this special occasion. Of course, we're also immensely grateful for the friends, relatives, supporters, and those with interest and commitment to reconciliation for joining us on the live stream as well. Hello, everybody. Or perhaps those that didn't quite make it due to the weather. If I could kindly ask you to switch off your phone, or at least put it on silent so that we do not disturb these sacred proceedings here tonight as we honor this cohort of amazing recipients. Tonight we'll be blending cultural traditions, Indigenous and non-Indigenous. This supports, of course, the manifestation of reconciliation and spirit of the awards that we're here to celebrate tonight. The first procession will be led by bagpipes, a tradition that goes way back many, many centuries. My good friend and bro and co-host to Sotson tonight, Patrick Kelly, once described how he actually had a relative who recounted stories from the war where regiments were led by bagpipers into battle. And when the soldiers could still hear the bagpipes, they knew that all would be well. The second procession will be led by drummers, the Lekwungen traditional drummers and dancers, in fact. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I could kindly ask you to please rise if you're comfortable doing so, for the entrance of the official parties. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in thanking her Honor's honorary pipe major this evening, Shelley Thorsteinson. Thank you, Shelley. And now we will welcome the chiefs and selection committee, and drummed in by the Lekwungen traditional drummers and dancers. Please join me in thanking the Lekwungen traditional dancers and drummers. Oh, great. Please be seated. As we get going, I would also like to acknowledge His Honor Stephen Point, who I believe is tuning in, snowed in back in Chilliwack. So hello, Your Honor. He phoned just a few moments before the ceremony. He was actually one of the originators, or this was his idea way back when, so we're honored to carry this forward, and we send His Honor and Gwen our very best wishes. In fact, there are many distinguished folks a little bit missing tonight, and we acknowledge and thank them for trying to make it here and not quite doing so. But thank you for those that have made the effort, and thank you for those that are tuning in at home. As I'd said earlier, there'll be two co-hosts tonight for this event. It'll be myself. I'm Jeremy Brownridge, along with my bro and friend, Tasatsan Patrick Kelly, who, as I said, is a member of the selection committee and a trustee of the Government House Foundation, who will act as ceremonial speaker for this event as well. And I would like to now invite Patrick to the podium. Thank you.
Jeremy and I literally do call each other bro, because we have developed such a close friendship over the times together. When we do ceremony, of course, we do want to honor everyone that's here and the guests in particular. And so in order to do that, I want to put on my robe. If you think the Pope has ceremony, I mean. I'll explain a little bit about the symbols that I carry. This feather that I have is given to me by former Chief Ken Cameron of the Soto First Nation up in the Dene territory, and we were working together on some important things, and this is a symbol of our gesture to the Creator to give us the wisdom and the strength and the honor to do the work well. The robe that I wear was given to me in my naming ceremony. I think it was 21 years ago, if I recall, on January 18th, actually. So I'd like to, just to give a little bit of background on myself, when this whole concept of the Reconciliation Awards came up, it was actually the idea of His Honor Stephen Point when he was the Lieutenant Governor. And he never actually got the opportunity to enact it while he was in office, but when Her Honor Janet Austin, looked at what she wanted to do, and I know from I've known Her Honor for many decades, and it's in her heart and in her mind to do this work well. And I just want to honor, Her Honor for doing this beautiful work, picking it up from your predecessor, His Honor Stephen Point. So, Her Honor had asked me to. Her Honor had asked me to help out in the process, and so I did so by writing a paper which formed the basis of the Reconciliation Awards. I'll give it a little bit of history of it a bit later, but we're going to be. You see, the ballroom is typically not set up this way, and I want to explain a little bit about that. We wanted to, even though this is not a big house in our traditional way, the way that it's set up, if this would be Mother Earth in front of us, and this is the way it would be, the honored people would be up front and the guests would be seated around, and so that's the structure by which we will conduct this ceremony this evening. There's a lot of blending of, and why Jeremy and I are so close, and his team here at Government House too. You saw the beautiful piping, tradition that brought us in at the beginning, and that's a very long-standing honoring tradition. My grandfather on my father's side served in the Second World War, and he told me the story as a soldier that it's such an important symbol that when the piper comes to the field of war, and as long as you continue to hear the piper, you're good, and because when the piper goes down, you're in trouble. And so I just really want to honor that, because we don't often understand the protocols of these beautiful ceremonies, and I just so respect the pipers and what they bring to this part of the process. And also you saw the drummers and the Lekwungen singers and drummers when they came in. That's also a similar tradition. And so, we try to bring them together, because the Reconciliation Awards is all about us working together as British Columbians from all of our different backgrounds, respecting all of our different cultures, and learning to be with one another as human beings in this beautiful place we call British Columbia in our communities. We have at each of your places a little blue bag. Take a look for it. In there's a little thing called a challenge coin. And I'll briefly explain a little bit about the tradition of the challenge coin. The challenge coin actually comes from the period of the Roman legion, when hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so legionnaires, the members of the legion were paid in gold coins, and so the tradition of the challenge coin is, now that you have one, and any one of us who have one, you now are obligated to keep it in your presence, because if any one of us ever asks you, "Can you show me your challenge coin?" you better be able to do that, because the price for not being able to do it is that you must buy the person who asked you a drink of their choice, a beverage of their choice. So it could be a pricey obligation. But if you do have it, and a person challenges you to show your coin, and you have it and you show it, then the person who asked you is obliged then to buy you a beverage of your choice. So it's a beautiful tradition, actually. It's so you each now have a symbol of the office of the Lieutenant Governor, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on that. In our traditional way, you are all called here as witnesses to this ceremony. When we hold our traditional feasts, we call witnesses from every area, every province, every part of the province, the communities, the families, the regions that come to the ceremony. So you are all invited here as witnesses for this beautiful ceremony. And your obligation as a witness is to observe what goes on, what is said, how we conduct ourselves, and to anyone ever asks you what you saw, heard, and felt, you are then obliged as a witness to tell what you experienced. So you're all here as witnesses in that regard. I'd now like to call Chelsea, Ayla, Krista, and Stephanie forward to lay some blankets for our honored recipients. And while they're doing that, I'll explain a little bit about what's going on here. In our tradition, in the big house, we create a sacred space for the honorees. And, when we stand on Mother Earth in our big houses, we place a blanket on Mother Earth, and that's a place of honor for the person who is being recognized for whatever he/she did, whatever the person did in being present in this ceremony. And so each of the seats where the honorees will sit, there will be a blanket placed, and when they come in, they will stand on the blanket in front of their seat, and there's also another blanket that they will receive that they will take with them. And that blanket is a symbol, a remembrance from this beautiful ceremony in which they took part. So what you're seeing, when I received my naming ceremony in the Charlie Longhouse in Sellars 21 years ago, this was done. And imagine a longhouse with 1,000 people in it. And that's what happened in that particular ceremony. And if you go to the Songhees and the Esquimalt big houses, or the one up in Salmonos, up in Duncan, there's longhouses in our tradition around this region, and you'll see these beautiful ceremonies going on. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to what's going on here. So the helpers are honoring all of us, and especially the recipients, for laying these beautiful blankets to give them a sacred space upon which to receive the honor that they're going to receive. So that's what you see happening. I too want to honor my colleague Christopher Horsey. If you see him sitting in front here in his beautiful war outfit, warrior's outfit, and last year he was in a tuxedo. And in the traditions where he comes from, amongst the Tanaka people, this is their traditional regalia that they wear for honoring these kinds of things. So my hand's up to you, Christopher, for coming with your beautiful wear. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Delighted to report all of the recipients are here. And if I could kindly ask you to please rise for the entrance of tonight's honorees. Thank you. Can we give a round of applause for tonight's honorees? Thank you. And please be seated. I'm now honored to invite our friend Diane Sam of Songhees to provide a welcome. Thank you, Diane.
Osam Nestelicha, Osam Sholakwa, Osam Selchwin, Sawalak E to Pathixath and the snake is lace in the Kongan Ia Houset. Helix and Quanzanaethla, Iquanis Konanga Hela. Good evening, everybody. I just introduced myself as Sawalak and Tepathixa, and sharing those names with you, the name Sawalak came from my late grandpa Pally from Songhees, and Tepathixa came from my late grandmother Sarah in a Houset. My late dad is Frank Sam, and my mom is Helena. In the words of Dr. Skip Dick, it's always very important to share who you are so people know who your family ties are. And I love to share this one because they talk about worldwide that it's like 7 degrees of separation of how you know somebody. But I think in the Indigenous community it's 0.5 because we always know somebody who knows somebody. I'd like to acknowledge all of our chiefs that are here tonight and the Honorable Janet Austin, and then Chief Philip Stewart. I send regrets on behalf of my leadership from Songhees, Chief Ron Sam, and our council. I apologize on their behalf that they can't be here tonight. I welcome you to the Lekwungen territory, home of the Songhees and the Esquimalt people. And often we talk about protocol, it's not a new thing. And I know that it came along with reconciliation and one of the requests that they had made. But in Lekwungen territory, canoe protocol would often happen in the inner harbor downtown, and we would know when people were coming in good faith. And I lift my hands up to many of you that are here as guests and recognizing the honor and the protocols that go with the work that we're doing tonight. And I also do this work very humbly on behalf of my community, my elders, my family, but more importantly, my ancestors. And I really lift my hands up to you and thank you for allowing me to be part of this very, very honorable work tonight. Congratulations to all of the recipients. Haichka.
Thanks so very much, Diane. And I'm now deeply honored to invite Chief Jerome Thomas of Esquimalt to provide remarks from him. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My traditional name is Sisanuk. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm glad everyone made it here safely. I know the weather hasn't been too great. This is my first award ceremony that I have attended, and I hope everything goes well, and thank you for having me. Haichka.
Thanks, Chief. And now I'm very humbled and honored on behalf of the recipients tonight to invite Grand Chief Stuart Phillip to provide some remarks. Thank you so much, Chief.
Why, Pisnak Seal, Esquis Siut. I want to begin by acknowledging the Songhees and the Esquimalt people and express my sincere gratitude for having the privilege to be on their lands and the absolute privilege of being in this very special place. As I was sitting in my chair reflecting on this ceremony before I followed the drummers out into the hall and the parking lot or wherever, I was in this room when Premier Gordon Campbell announced the recognition and reconciliation legislative proposal. And this room was jam-packed with government, ministers, opposition, everybody you could think of, plus many, many of our own leaders. Grand Chief Ed John was here, for example. And that announcement of legislation that would embrace recognition and reconciliation in the province of BC was absolutely a tremendous moment in the history of this province. And after we talked about it, everybody was socializing, and everybody kept saying, "Do you think it's true? Do you think it's really going to happen?" And unfortunately, we all know it unraveled, and due to mistrust and our history, the terrible things that have happened in our history, and it was pre-election, and the opposition was, and the business industry communities were lighting their hair on fire, and it fell apart. And personally for myself, my beautiful wife Joan is here. Joan and I have been together almost 47 years now, and we've been married this upcoming fall, it'll be 40 years. And we've been blessed with 15 grandchildren. So when Joan and I get up in the morning, that's the lens we look through, is our grandchildren. And what does the future hold for our grandchildren and all of your grandchildren. You know, that's the issue before us. And we know that racism, racialized hate, petty jealousies, and things of that nature are counterproductive. They are counterproductive, they are incredibly painful and dangerous. And we do not want our grandchildren to grow up in a world that continues that rising trend in white supremacist notions and things of that nature, a deep prejudice against the poor, the homeless, the addicted. And that's why this is such a special place for both Joan and I to come here and once again make that commitment to each other, very much like a marriage ceremony, that we're going to do our absolute utmost in the time we have left here on Mother Earth to bring about a world that is hopeful, a world that is more trusting, a world that openly embraces all people of all creeds and color and religious beliefs and so on and so forth. We all know in this room that's the fundamental basis of government. If you go back to the Constitution of the United States, for example, after the Revolution, you go back to Constitution of this country and all of the work that's been done in regard to human rights and ensuring there's an equitable sharing, ensuring that that our respect for each other is a way of life. And I believe that that's possible. That's why I have always embraced reconciliation. It's a no-brainer. Love has always proved itself to be more powerful than hate. Love has proved itself to be more productive than hate. Love has proved to be the solution to all of our issues and that we have within our own hearts. Joan and I have been sober now for something like 36, 37 years. We went to the Choices program, and that was an amazing experience that takes you back to when you're a child and makes you realize that your parents were once children too. And they had a very, very challenging environment to grow up in, which was far more violent than the one that we grew up in. But again, we need to make it better for our grandchildren. And we just got the most incredible, miraculous news that we're going to have our first great-grandchild. And it's going to be in February. We have 2 grandsons that were both born on Valentine's Day. So it'd be amazing if this great-grandchild was also born on Valentine's Day. I wanted to acknowledge my colleagues in the room. I've known all of them for a very, very long time, and I know they've made a difference in their communities. They've made a remarkable difference. And when that happens, we all benefit from that progress, and we need to celebrate that progress. I know that the leaders that are in this room have lived through the challenges and the heartbreak and the loneliness that leadership brings. And I admire them for for their consistency and their courage to continue, because at the end of the day, it is about our children and grandchildren and their future. So that's why this work is so absolutely important. So we've done a lot of work for different causes, such as the residential school, the 94 recommendations that came out of the inquiry, a tremendous amount of work in regard to violence against women, violence against all women, gender violence, which is all part of reconciliation. And I know those organizations struggle. I do the Downtown Eastside Women's March every Valentine's Day. And so far, I've done it about 22 times. And I'll be there again this year. And Downtown Eastside Women's Center has played a pivotal role in making sure that we all attend. And we're up in the thousands now when we march through the streets to create the public awareness around this, this terrible horror story of violence against Indigenous women, murders, and so on and so forth. But I would urge and encourage the government of British Columbia to provide them with core funding, as opposed to, bits and pieces of funding here and there. Their successes are our successes. And without question, the greatest strength, aside from the Creator, in my life has been Joan. It's really Joan you've been hearing all these years. I had some horrible attitudes when we first met, absolutely sexist and disgraceful. It didn't take Joan long to beat that out of me. So with that, I just want to thank all of you for going out of your way in this inclement weather. As you know, we're trying to make the 9 o'clock ferry. We have a very important meeting coming up that's directly related to all of this work we're doing in regard to breathing life into the Bill 41, the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act. All of the commitments must come to fruition. And we all know that if Indigenous people do well, we all do well. And when we come together and work together, history has taught us that we do much better than being apart and bickering over things that shouldn't be happening. There should be more collusion and cooperation, more partnerships. If we ever hope to realize the economic benefits and potential power that this province represents. So believe me, these ceremonies and these reminders are so important. I want to thank the drum group, for drumming us in. And when I hear the drum, I just keep following it. So I was a bit embarrassed there when I was going out the back door there. And nobody was behind me. So with that, I love this place, and may the Creator bless all of you. Wai lim lim.
Thank you so much, Grand Chief and Joan, for making the trip here, providing us with such impactful, warm, and insightful remarks, and congratulations on the great-grandchild, so thank you. That was great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a performance by the traditional dancers, the Lekwungen dancers and drummers.
Whilst the kids get ready, I just wanted to thank everybody for having us here tonight. It's an honor being asked to do something like this and represent our people in such a significant event. We're just going to do a couple of songs for you tonight. But again, hi, Chika. Thank you. Just quick. First song we did was our prayer song that was taught to us by my late Uncle Ray Peters from Cowichan. We're blessed that we had these teachings from him to carry on. And the next song we're going to do is our grand finale song. This is another one that he has taught us. And again, I'm very appreciative for having us here tonight. Thank you very much. My mom says feel free to clap along with the beat. It's a faster beat, and feel free to clap along.
Thank you so much to the Lekwungen dancers and drummers for sharing their beautiful, beautiful songs and rhythms to fill our hearts and our minds with this beautiful celebratory experience. So, Heichquasian. I'd now like to call upon Her Honor and Kim Vanderwoord to please come up with the representatives of the Songhees Nation. We now have some work that we need to do, and I'd like to call upon you to do that. So what will be happening now is that Her Honor and Kim and I serve on the selection committee as well. It's been such a great gift of yourself to do that. And so they're going to be giving some blankets to each of the recipients. I'll give you a little bit of background on the blankets. The ones that they'll be presenting are designed by Deborah and Robin Sparrow of the Musqueam Nation. And the Musqueam are the keepers of the river. And as canoes glided over the river, paddles dug deep and lifted, leaving behind ripples that turned into waves, inspiring the blanket. So you'll see that's what's on the blankets, and they're appropriately titled River Ripples. So I'd like to ask each of the recipients to please stand on your blankets. I'd like to now call upon Stephanie, Chelsea, Ayla again to come and get the blankets for the presentations. So, ACM. Honor and Kim, over to you. Yeah. So when the recipients receive your blankets, can you please remain standing? ACM. If you can now please take your seats. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm now delighted to call upon Her Honor to provide her remarks, Your Honor.
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you to both of the bros. I think I'm going to ditch this. I've never been any good at these things. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you both very much. And good day, friends. It's wonderful to be among you today, and I do mean that so very sincerely. I start as well by acknowledging with humility and with respect the Lekwungen peoples, the Songhees and Esquimalt, upon whose traditional territory we gather today, and I thank them for sharing these lands in peace and friendship. I also want to express my appreciation to the Lekwungen dancers for the gift of a traditional welcome, and to Diane Sam and Chief Jerome Thomas for blessing our gathering in the spirit of peace and friendship. To Grand Chief Stuart Phillip, and gosh, I think we have the motherload of chiefs here today. So to all the chiefs who have made the journey here today, you do us great honor by your presence here this evening, and especially by your example of leadership in advancing the true meaning of reconciliation. I understand that we have Minister Murray Rankin here this evening. Is Minister Rankin here? Not quite yet. He's on his way. He's deputizing for Premier Eby, who most unfortunately has been held back by the weather. But I will share that Premier Eby contacted us personally. He didn't just contact us or have an aide contact us just to say how very, very sorry he was to miss this celebration, and I know it's very personally meaningful to him. I do think that the Premier and Murray Rankin's support and their attempts to be present here today speak to the importance of the awards and to their personal commitment to the shared journey of reconciliation that is needed in our province and in our country, and I thank them all. I'm especially grateful to my co-host this evening, Dr. Kim Vanderwoerd of the Namgis First Nation, and as you heard, she is also a member of the selection committee. She is herself a Reconciliation Award winner, and she's someone I'm very proud to claim as a dear friend. We've worked together on a number of boards and various social justice issues over the years, and I have just enormous respect and affection for you, Kim. In keeping with the practice of my Indigenous friends, I will introduce myself by sharing that I am a seventh-generation Canadian. My ancestors came to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia during the Scottish clearances when their lands were taken away by the aristocracy. They found a great deal of success and happiness here in Canada, and that is success that I have subsequently benefited from. But I'm keenly aware that my success has come at the expense of Indigenous peoples. And so, for this reason, and because I hold the great privilege of serving as Lieutenant Governor, I feel a deep responsibility to be a visible and a vocal advocate for reconciliation in all its dimensions, and to do my part to contribute to the healing that is needed in Canada in both my public role and in my personal life. And certainly it is true that as the representative of an historic colonial institution, I think there is no one more important to stand up and say, we can do better. In fact, we must do better. Aichkasiam. Honored recipients this evening, your example and your stories of generosity and healing give me hope that we have truly reached a tipping point in Canadian society, that Canadians have finally been awakened in our hearts to the truth of the appalling historic treatment of Indigenous peoples who continue to work, to raise families, and to valiantly carry on their traditions despite the seizure of their lands, the apprehension of their children, and the culture of exclusion and, frankly, abject disregard practiced against them. It is a great honor to welcome all of you here to the ceremonial home of British Columbians, where all are welcome in the unifying spirit of our shared humanity with respect and love for each other, as Grand Chief Philip shared with us. We are called by you, the recipients, to do the hard work of reconciliation, to build the trust that is needed among different peoples. Through your example, we see the transformative power of reconciliation when it is practiced with authenticity and sustained commitment to real, practical change. There is much work ahead, and what is required is nothing short of revolutionary. But the revolution we seek will not happen overnight if it is to herald real change. It will require reforms in policies and processes, in legal and governance frameworks, new investments in social and physical infrastructure, and a sustained long-term commitment. It must be anchored in honest and respectful relationships with each other, across cultures and social barriers, in communities, and among different people. To the recipients, I say thank you most wholeheartedly for showing us the way. You're an inspiration to all British Columbians, and certainly you are an inspiration to me. I close with my thanks to all who have contributed to this process and to this evening. To His Honor, former Lieutenant Governor Stephen Point, our founding visionary for the awards, and my personal Lieutenant Governor role model, who most unfortunately is unable to join us this evening, but I understand he's here on the live stream, so hey, Stephen. To Tassotson Patrick Kelly for his ongoing guidance and for presiding over our ceremony this evening. Thank you so much, Patrick. To our steering and selection committee members who shaped the framework, the process, and the criteria for the awards. To our partner organization, the BC Achievement Foundation, represented tonight by a number of board members and by Catherine Wilson, fabulous executive director. We could not have a better community partner than you, and we thank you for all the work that you've done in partnership with us. To all the local nation representatives for your guidance and support with the protocol this evening, and really to all of you gathered here today for helping to build that better world we all envision and desire. Ananuhiluk nushkwelekwins adische. I feel very proud of the work that is done all together. Moments like this give me hope for a better world, truly. Haichkasiam, thank you for being here.
Kilakasla. Thank you. Nugwam Glalasium, Nugwam Namgis Bakwam. I shared with you the name that my family gave me at our family's first potlatch. I'm a member of the Numgis Nation and from the Shaughnessy and Wannock family. And Kilakasla, Janet, for your beautiful words and kind introduction. Good evening, everyone. I'm thrilled to stand here as your co-host tonight for this remarkable occasion. I'm very sorry that His Honor Stephen Point can't be here, so I too am waving. Today we honor the 2023 recipients of the British Columbia Reconciliation Award to pay tribute to the exceptional individuals and organizations that have left an indelible mark on our landscape of reconciliation in our province. This honor is a testament to their exceptional leadership, integrity, respect, their commitment to further reconciliation, and their ability to inspire others to join in the ongoing efforts. I extend my heartfelt appreciation on behalf of my colleagues from the founding committee who so thoughtfully and intentionally designed this award. Our gratitude extends to each recipient for their tireless contributions to the cause of reconciliation in their respective communities. Your endeavors are truly inspiring, and if you review these these proposals, you need a box of Kleenex because it's incredible work. As one of the founding members of the award committee, allow me to delve into the rich history of this esteemed honor. The visionary behind the Reconciliation Award is His Honor, the 28th Governor of British Columbia, our esteemed friend, Stephen Point. His Honor conceptualized this award years ago. Following his term, Stephen collaborated with individuals like me, people from the legislature, community leaders, and partnered with the current Lieutenant Governor, Her Honor Janet Austin, to shape this award. Inspired by his father's words on the Black Rod of British Columbia, Stephen envisioned this award as a lasting legacy, a gift to the province in the spirit of reconciliation. Tonight, I'm delighted that the history of this award's origin with our friends in the legislature continue as we welcome distinguished guests who the Premier, the Speaker, the Clerk, and the Deputy Minister to the Premier. Reconciliation is a shared journey. Stephen's hand-carved red cedar canoe displayed at the BC Legislature building symbolizes a journey, as do the paddles of the award. They represent the understanding that we are all in the same canoe and must paddle together to move forward. This award acknowledges all recipients, honored guests, Indigenous leaders, and fellow British Columbians rowing together toward a shared destination. This award celebrates the promise of a shared path to reconciliation through remarkable work of leaders across British Columbia. Their dedication to reconciliation, to recognizing past injustices and healing wounds illuminate a path to a brighter future. We honor the exemplary contributions of both Indigenous and non-Indigenous recipients. We invite all British Columbia to reflect on the narratives of these remarkable individuals, learning and drawing inspiration from their accomplishments. Indeed, the stories resonate incredible power, and tonight we celebrate their impact. I extend my gratitude to the fellow members of the selection committee, including those instrumental in crafting the BC Reconciliation Awards based on Indigenous culture and knowledge principles. To Sotson Patrick Kelly, the Campbell Nation, who is also our ceremonial speaker tonight, founding member Cloisis, Dr. Judith Sayers, Hupaskasath Nation, Hereditary Chief Sophie Pierre, Ktunaxa Nation, Nicole McLaren, Métis Nation, and Selection Committee, Piaka, Dr. Christopher Horsethief, Ktunaxa Nation, Kupi, Roseanne Casimir, Tecumlips and Secwepemc, and Brenda Crabtree, Spuzum Band, in Klipakma, and Stolo ancestry, I feel deeply honored to share in these celebrations tonight and to recognize these well-deserving recipients. May you all enjoy the evening. Once again, Gila Kasla.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. And Kim, if you didn't mind to maybe wait, yeah, because right after Patrick will say a few words, and then we'll commence with the ceremony, keeping in mind Chief's ferry at 9 o'clock. So thank you.
Haichkwep, beautiful words, thank you. Yeah. I'd like to begin with another one of our respectful traditions, which is to take a moment of silence for some incredible leaders who unfortunately have passed away. One of last year's recipients from Nomgees, Chief Bill Cranmer, unfortunately passed away just recently, and also up in Seabird Island, Grand Chief Clem Seymour just passed away recently, and I know, I'm sure many of you are familiar with others that we have lost great gifts of incredible leaders and people. So if you could please join me in just a moment of silence in honor of our lost loved ones. You mind just standing up just briefly? Yeah. Haichkwep, everyone. I know in your own way, please, pray and honor each person in your own way. So.
Okay, if I could kindly invite Shannon and other members of the selection committee to line up here at the front of the courtyard, and we will start presenting each of the honorees with their, I'll read their citation and we'll do the presentations. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I will now commence with the citations. First of all, Grand Chief Stuart Phillip from Penticton. Grand Chief Stuart Phillip has dedicated his life to defending Aboriginal title and rights, achieving reconciliation and self-determination for BC First Nations. He's worked with Indigenous organizations, provincial and federal governments on landmark legislation and policies that work to bridge cultural and ideological divides, paving the way for the passage of Bill 41 into the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act. He is a true example of reconciliation in action. Beautiful, beautiful. Next, we will honor Klith-waa-taa, Dr. Barney Williams. Dr. Barney Williams is a respected hereditary leader from Klith-waa-taa First Nation. He integrates traditional teachings into Indigenous healing and counseling, notably at Vancouver Island University. His groundbreaking programs and pivotal role on the Survivors Committee for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission reflect his commitment. Recognized with an honorary doctorate in laws in 2017, Dr. Williams collaborated with First Nations communities, and his extraordinary personal achievements also earned him the 2022 Courage to Come Back Award. Dr. Williams is dedicated to empowering Indigenous peoples and honoring their personal growth. Advocating for reconciliation and decolonization, his work fosters resilience, cultural reconnection, and healing through community engagement. Dr. Barney Williams. Thank you. Next, we're delighted to honor Dr. Danièle Behn Smith from Victoria, just down the street. Dr. Behn Smith, a distinguished Haudenosaunee and Franco-Manitoban Métis, has dedicated her career to serving rural and First Nations communities. Pioneering a systems biology approach aligned with Indigenous health principles, she's held key roles, including serving as BC's Deputy Provincial Health Officer of Indigenous Health. Dr. Behn Smith's leadership has advanced reconciliation in healthcare delivery and education throughout the province. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, she addressed racism, advocated for data sharing frameworks, and transformed healthcare systems, all of which improved Indigenous community well-being. Dr. Behn Smith's inspired advocacy revolutionizes healthcare and societal norms while contributing to a more inclusive and equitable future for Indigenous peoples. Fantastic. Next, we honor Exploration Place, Lheidli First Nation and Prince George. The Exploration Place, Lheidli First Nation, is represented tonight by Chief Darlene Logan and Tracy Caligaros. Thank you. From Prince George. Exploration Place and Lheidli First Nation collaboration presents an inspired commitment to safeguarding Indigenous cultural assets. Designated as the repository for the nation's material history, they jointly spearhead initiatives including repatriation and digitization projects. Aligned with local curriculum, their partnership extends to Indigenous programming with plans for a culturally safe childcare center. The Klith-waa-taa, a place of learning gallery, sets a model for reclamation, asset protection, and deeper understanding of Indigenous history, cultivating trust over 3 decades. This enduring partnership, ensures Northern BC's museum is a place where cultural learning and practice honor traditions and celebrate a collective future. Congratulations. Next, we have Brendan Isham from Prince Rupert. Brendan is an advocate of Tsimshian culture and heritage, having become very conversant in Sim-el-Glech, the language of the Tsimshian nation. He became a regular speaker at public events, delivering greetings in his language and providing the English translation of spoken addresses by elders. He has since launched a website and app dedicated to sharing the language. Through his dedication to the preservation of Tsimshian heritage, Brendan is connecting the past and present in a way that builds understanding between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. Bravo, well done. Thank you so much. And thanks to my bro for the save on the water. I'm not sure what happened there, but pardon me. Next, we're very pleased to honor Dr. Eldon Yellowhorn. Dr. Yellowhorn is a trailblazer in Indigenous engagement throughout his career. Dr. Yellowhorn has empowered successive generations of Indigenous scholars. Joining SFU in 2002, he helped establish the Department of Indigenous Studies, serving as its inaugural chair. Raised on the Pagan Indian Reserve, Dr. Yellowhorn's passion for earth sciences led him to become the first Indigenous student to earn an MA in archaeology at SFU, followed by a PhD at McGill, and he's become a dedicated Blackfoot language speaker, preserving the language by voicing animated mathematics videos. Dr. Yellowhorn's pivotal role in the Missing Children and Brandon IRS Cemeteries projects highlights his commitment to restoring dignity to Indigenous children. His collaboration with SFU's leadership has shaped the university's reconciliation efforts, reflecting his remarkable ability to bridge worlds and inspire inclusivity. It's Dr. Eldon Yellowhorn of Burnaby. Next, we're delighted to honor Chief Willie Sellars of Williams Lake. Chief Willie Sellars' leadership embodies a resolute approach to reconciliation. From the Williams Lake First Nation of the Secwepemc Nation, his decade-long council tenure and current second term as chief since 2018 reflect dedication to healing historical wounds. His impactful negotiation of economic agreements and oversight of multi-million-dollar projects displays transformative governance. Actively participating in St. Joseph's Mission residential school investigation, Chief Sellars is committed to revitalizing culture and language, evident in the nation's substantial investments. His holistic dedication to community well-being extends to authoring children's books, hosting cultural events, sports, and promoting unity and mutual respect amongst all Canadians. And Her Honor and I had the pleasure of visiting not too long ago, so congratulations, Chief. Also a 2023 recipient, we're very, very pleased to honor one of our former honorary aides de camp representing the Last Post Fund, Gino Simeone and Glenn Smith of Burnaby. Committed to upholding every veteran's dignity, the Last Post Fund ensures respectful funerals, burials, and military gravestones, regardless of financial constraints. Its Indigenous Veteran Initiative, founded in 2019, focuses on the Unmarked Grave Program and the Traditional Name Marking Project, both providing grave markers and adding traditional names to tombstones, honoring identity and heritage. Collaborating with Indigenous elders and former Canadian Armed Forces members, cultural protocols for proper commemoration are respected. The initiative symbolizes gratitude for Indigenous veterans, expresses their service, sacrifice, and commitment through proper military-marked tombstones. The BC branch of the Last Post Fund emphasizes respect and remembrance across all communities. Well done. Corporal Christopher Voller is a 2021 recipient coming from Courtney. Throughout his career as an RCMP officer, Christopher Voller has sought out postings where he could work with Indigenous communities, intent on having a positive impact and keen to rebuild trust. For those just starting a journey of reconciliation, Corporal Voller emphasizes the deeply powerful experience of this work. First, knowledge and perspective of resiliency and history. Second, capability for forgiveness. Third, the strength of a sense of community. And fourth, just how large hearts can be. Corporal Voller's journey is toward a shared goal of a respectful and safer tomorrow for everyone, irrespective of whether they be visitors or the original inhabitants within their traditional territory. Congratulations. I'm also humbled and honored to read the citation in memory of Chief Bill Cramner a 2022 recipient from Alert Bay. Chief Bill Cramner had been a strong and vital voice for the sustainment of the Namgis First Nation language and culture. He led the repatriation of cultural objects that were confiscated in 1921 under an anti-potlatch law. A fluent speaker of Kwakwakwa, Bill worked tirelessly to retrieve the appropriated pieces and raise awareness about need to preserve and maintain language, history, and culture. His efforts in the preservation of First Nations traditions have gone a very, very long way in reconciliation efforts in this province. Thank you. And that's it. That's the conclusion of this ceremony. I would invite our friends up front to kindly take a seat, and we will begin dinner momentarily. I would also like to remind all recipients and selection committee to please go to the drawing room for their photos during the course of dinner. I don't think there are any other significant housekeeping items to pass along, but I'll now turn it over to Patrick for a couple last-minute points before dinner.
Hi, Christian. Congratulations to you all. I just know from, I think we had 160 applications, nominations for awards, and I believe Kim and Christopher will attest to that. It was a very, very difficult process. So, but you're all highly deserving of the honor. So, hi, Christian. Yeah, all of you. Yeah, beautiful. And we will get to the pictures, because I know Grand Chief Philip has to go to a ferry, and I certainly don't want to be on the wrong side of Joan anytime soon. So, so let's. I just want to mention, you heard a little bit about the anti-potlatch law. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but what they were banning was this kind of stuff, right? And I just don't get it, but thankfully we're coming to our senses collectively as British Columbians and Canadians, and you know, I just really want to so honor all of you for the incredible work that you're all doing, and I think with the other two cohorts of the recipients, we have 4,975,000 to go. British Columbians, that is. So we have more work. So, Haich Kwasiem. So let's have all of the awardees please go to the drawing room for your photographs, and we'll pick up the blankets. And thank you all for coming. I just know it's great that you're all able to witness this amazing ceremony here today, and more to come for sure. So, yeah. Yeah.
Dinner will be ready in 1 or 2 minutes. Either myself or my colleagues will open the door into the dining room. We have a wonderful buffet set for everybody. Of course, we would invite elders first, and chiefs, and the rest of you will fall in. Thank you. Good evening again, everyone. If I may have your attention. I have the honor and privilege of introducing someone who likely needs no introduction. Everyone knows her as our superhero for British Columbia. If I may introduce Dr. Bonnie Henry.
Thank you. Good evening. It's such an honor to be here and to be in the presence of all of you amazing recipients of this award this evening. They asked me at the last minute to do this because apparently Premier Eby couldn't make it, as we heard, and I'm just thankful that the podium doesn't move up and down as it does every other time that I speak next to him. So it is my great honor and privilege this evening to introduce my colleague, my friend, who has brought joy into our office in ways that I could never have imagined, including I'm now an honorary auntie to Maeve and Lucy. But Danièle Behn-Smith, who is one of the award recipients tonight and who I have so much love and respect for, she is somebody who has pulled me along on my journey in ways that I didn't know that I needed to do. And I'm just so grateful for all of the time that we've been able to spend together and the work that we've been able to do together. And it's my privilege to introduce Danièle to say a few words tonight. And I'm supposed to say, I love you for who you are, not what you do.
Oh, Marcy, Bonnie. Tanche Kiowau Doani, Danièle Behn-Smith Dishnakashan, Sezitla Azezon, En Michifnia Pi Echodene At Fort Nelson First Nation Pi Winnipeg Dostjin, Lekwangin Tanach Niwikin. Good evening, honored guests, friends, family, and loved ones. It is such an honor to be gathered with you this evening. My name is Danièle. I also introduced myself with my slavey name of Azezon, which means crying all the time. So if you're like me, you may want to have a tissue handy. I am so grateful to my language teachers for helping me on that journey and giving me some of that language back to introduce myself. So I told you that I'm Echodene from Fort Nelson First Nation. My grandparents are the late George and Mary Behn. I'm Michif or Métis from the Red River Valley. My maternal grandparents are the late Lucien and Gédéon Zuman, and I'm so grateful to have my family here with me today, some of my family. We live here on Lekwangin Tanach, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to the drummers and the dancers that welcomed us this evening and really reminded us that there are laws and protocols here that we need to follow as guests. And so I'm humbly walking that journey to start following those protocols. I was really so honored and deeply humbled to be one of this year's recipients alongside these legends. So I feel completely undeserving and, as I say, very deeply humble, and even more so to be having a moment to say a few words. And so as I was preparing to come, I made a very long journey today, all the way from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. So as I made that long journey, I reflected, and actually earlier this week, Dr. Henry and I were in a meeting where we were challenged by somebody new that we were just meeting, a Cree Anishinaabe woman that is in the prairies, and she really challenged us on the word reconciliation. What does that mean? She kept saying to us, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? And so I've been thinking about that, and I realized there are no words really for reconciliation. It is all about actions and demonstrating trustworthiness. So I'll begin by acknowledging that First Nations territories stretch to every inch of what we now colonially refer to as BC. And our inherent rights and title are embedded in our lands and waters, and they've never been ceded or surrendered. Our inherent rights are affirmed and upheld in international, national, and provincial law. We also have our own laws and systems of health, education, and governance that are integrally tied to our lands and waters. And that's what makes us who we are, and that's what makes us the strong, resilient people that are still here. In our office, where we focus on health and wellness, we also acknowledge that there are generations of other First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people that now also call these lands home, for many reasons, are now here, and they also have rights to health and wellness, and that we collectively have obligations. And so the work that we've been doing, and as I thought about this marathon of reconciliation that we're all on, I thought about this insight that we've had in our office, which is that there are two buckets of work that need to happen in order to advance true reconciliation. And it's hard, heart work that we're all doing. And there's a bucket that is ours as First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. And that's the work of intergenerational healing and keeping our languages alive. And I just hold those of you in the room that are fluent speakers in just the highest esteem. I'm so grateful to you. Our languages are in the lands, and that is who we are. And so we really need to lift up and hold up our language keepers. And so that's our work as First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, as elders and as young ones. Our work is to continue to be who we are and fight for the freedom to be ourselves. And we use a birch bark basket to represent that in our work, because that comes from Treaty 8 territory, from where I'm from. And then we also recognize there's this other bucket of work that actually needs to be carried by settlers. And the heavy lifting of that bucket of work, and we use a copper pot to reference that, is settler work. And that is the very hard heart work of unlearning and undoing white supremacy and Indigenous-specific racism that has very violently tried to erase us. But we're here. We're here in this grand ballroom, and we've come so far, and we've got so much farther to go. And so I really was thinking about this evening and thinking about how uncomfortable it is to be up here as a solo recipient, because this is not solo work. No one is doing this work alone. We have to be doing it together, our baskets and our copper pots together. And we just need to continue on and lifting one another up. And so I was so moved when I was gifted with the print of Jamie Gentry's beautiful paddle. And not everybody's had a chance to see it yet. But I think that Darren actually has it, and we'll bring it around so you can see it. Because I was sitting reflecting about the importance of this work, and absolutely, reconciliation is important to make things right with the original inhabitants of these lands. But actually, it's so important for all of us, because we are all one. We are connected, and we are all connected to Mother Earth. And this paddle so beautifully shows us that we are connected to these lands and waters, and the lands and waters that we come from. And Mother Earth is really hurting. We've seen that this summer when our rivers were so dry. When our fish relatives needed our help to get to their spawning grounds. And so collectively, we need to lean into reconciliation. We need to really understand what our job is. Is it basket work? Is it copper pot work? And we need to keep doing that heavy lifting because without it, we can't move forward and we can't heal all together and heal these relationships with ourselves, with one another, and with Mother Earth. So again, thank you so much to Her Honor, to the selection committee, to our families and our loved ones who traveled these, as I say, great distances all the way up the hill, but I know many others traveled really great distances to celebrate with your loved ones. And I am just so honored to be a co-recipient with these absolute legends. And I look forward to getting back to work tomorrow and just continuing this, one foot in front of the other as we all just continue to try and wrap ourselves, one another, and all of us doing this work in love and care. So, masicho, mercy, ekoshe. Thank you.
I have the deep and distinct privilege of working in this space almost every day for the last 15 years, but it's nights like tonight, it really drives home, so thank you. And what an outstanding group of recipients here tonight. It's been a true honor to share this evening with you, and we thank you for making the journey, whether it be from way up north or down the street. But I think that reinforces for me, and I think you'd all agree, the importance of this award, now in its third year. The nominations are currently open for the awards next year, and they close on the 31st of January. So friends out there in TV land and all those here tonight, we would encourage you to try to seek some new nominations for this award so we can honor and celebrate those that continue to do this great work of reconciliation in our province. So thank you. And now that kind of concludes tonight again. But before we wrap up, as is tradition in a ceremony, an evening like tonight, we'd like to provide an opportunity for anyone else who'd like to speak. It's what we call open mic night. So we'll close the doors and feel free to say what you like, but we will turn the mic over to those that might wish to say a few words. And again, before I peel out, this is my last opportunity to thank everyone, particularly the chiefs and leadership, and all those that made the journey. So thanks again, everybody. And now the mic is open. So have a good night.